Namaste and welcome to Daily News Simplified, the what, why, and how of newspaper reading. Now we would be analyzing the Delhi edition of the Hindu newspaper of 10th of December 2018, and the news that would be covered today is given on the screen, and the timestamp for the same is given in the description and the comment section given below. And so now with this, let us start with the first article. Now we have taken this article from page 1. Now what this article talks about is that the Government of India has amended the citizenship rules of 2009, whereby the citizenship form of India will have a separate column in which 6 migrant communities from Pakistan, Afghanistan and Bangladesh would have to fill. Now what had happened earlier was that the Government of India introduced the Citizenship Amendment Bill of 2016. Now under this bill, the Government of India had proposed to provide citizenship to 6 persecuted minorities from Pakistan, Afghanistan and Bangladesh. Now the 6 religious minorities under which the Government of India had proposed to provide citizenship under the Citizenship Amendment Bill of 2016 were Hindus, Jains, Sikh, Parsis, Christians and Buddhists. However, citizenship would only be provided to those religious minorities that had come to India before 2014. However, the Citizenship Amendment Bill of 2016 was opposed by various groups in the state of Assam, wherein their main concern was that it would provide citizenship to illegal migrants that had come from Bangladesh to Assam after the war of 1971. And therefore what is happening now is that the Citizenship Amendment Bill of 2016 is currently being examined by a parliamentary committee, and therefore we'll have to wait and see on how the parliamentary committee moves forward with regards to the Citizenship Amendment Bill of 2016. However, what has happened now is that the Government of India has amended the citizenship rules of 2009. And now what has been done under the citizenship rules of 2009, a separate column has been added whereby the 6 religious minorities from Afghanistan, Bangladesh and Pakistan can provide their religious minority status within the citizenship form. However, you have to understand that by adding this column, it does not provide any form of citizenship to the 6 religious minorities from Pakistan, Bangladesh and Afghanistan. And it is only an added information that citizens who are from Pakistan, Bangladesh and Afghanistan who are applying for citizenship of India would need to provide their religious minority status. So now hopefully up till here you've understood that earlier the Government of India had introduced a Citizenship Amendment Bill of 2016 which had proposed to provide citizenship to 6 religious minorities being Hindus, Sikh, Parsis, Jains, Christians and Buddhists who belonged to Pakistan, Bangladesh and Afghanistan and had come to India before 2014, and therefore these religious minorities would become eligible for easier path to citizenship of India. And this is one common difference that you need to understand, that the Citizenship Amendment Bill of 2016 does not automatically provide citizenship to these religious minorities. And what this bill intends to do is to give an easier path to citizenship to these religious minorities, wherein one such easier path would be that they would have to wait for a smaller amount of time to apply for citizenship. However, this Citizenship Amendment Bill of 2016 was opposed in the state of Assam, wherein there was a fear amongst social groups and political groups in Assam that it would provide easier path to citizenship to migrants that had come to Assam after the Bangladesh War of 1971. And what the groups in Assam had feared is that it would lead to a demographic change within the state of Assam, wherein what would happen is that most of the Hindus, the Buddhists or the religious minorities that come from Bangladesh would generally be of Bengali speaking, and therefore there was a fear among groups in Assam that it would lead to an increase in the population of Bengali speaking electorate within the state of Assam. And therefore what is currently happening is that the Citizenship Amendment Bill of 2016 is currently being examined by a parliamentary committee, and therefore we'll have to wait and see on how the parliamentary committee moves forward with regards to this bill. However, what has happened now is that the Government of India has amended the citizenship rules of 2009, wherein a separate column has been added to the citizenship form of India, whereby the religious minorities, the Hindus, Sikhs, Parsis, Jain, Christians and Buddhists, who originally belonged to the country of Pakistan, Bangladesh and Afghanistan and have applied for citizenship of India, would need to provide their religious minority status in the citizenship form. However, you have to understand that by providing this information, it does not guarantee or automatically means that they would be provided citizenship of India. So now with regards to your UPSC syllabus, this article and the explanation given in this section would be placed in GS paper 2 within the section Governance, Constitution and Polity. And so now with this, let us move on to the next article. Now we have taken this article from page 5. Now there's some facts that have been given in this article which are important to be remembered and understood, especially with regards to your upcoming prelims examination of 2019. Now the first fact that you need to understand is that GSAT 11, GSAT 19 and GSAT 29. And all these three satellites are part of a high throughput satellites. Now what this means is that these satellites have the ability of frequency reuse and multiple spot beams. Now what this means is that earlier there used to be fixed satellite services or FSS, under which there was a single satellite which covered a particular amount of geographical region, whereby each Earth station which was located in this geographical region received the same signal from the satellite. However, what is happening under the multi-spot beam technology is that various spots are being formed in a particular geographical region, and every Earth station which is located under a particular spot is able to receive a customized signal, wherein this allows a single satellite to deliver multiple services in a small geographical target area. And what multi-spot beam technology also allows is frequency reuse, when what used to happen under the earlier technology of FSS or fixed satellite services is that every specific frequency that was given out by the satellite would be same to every Earth station. However, what the multi-spot beam technology allows is to have the same frequency deliver different services to different Earth stations, and thereby allows the reuse of a particular frequency. And therefore this is what is happening with the GSAT 11 satellite, is that it is forming multiple spot beams across the geographical region of India. And one of the new and important aspect of GSAT 11 is that it uses a new band called Ka band, which is being used for the first time in India. And for this Ka band, 4 Earth stations have been formed, the first being Delhi, second being Ahmedabad, third being Bangalore, and the fourth being Ranchi. And now because these 3 satellites use multiple spot beams and frequency reuse, they are considered as internet boosting communication satellites. And the last aspect that you need to understand from this article is that there is going to be a future edition of a 4th satellite known as GSAT 20. And therefore the number of internet boosting communication satellites of India would increase from the current 3 satellites to 4 satellites. Now these were the main aspects that you needed to remember and understand, especially with regards to your upcoming prelims examination of 2019. Now question for your practice is consider the following statements on GSAT 11. Now what you need to do is pause this video, solve this question and wait for 5 seconds for the correct answer. Now the correct answer to this question is B, 2 only. Now GSAT 11 does provide multiple spot beams capability. However, it provides them both over mainland India and also over the Lakshadweep and the Andaman Nicobar Islands. Now with regards to statement number 2, there is one difference that you need to know. That even though it was GSAT 29 which was launched first, and it was after GSAT 29 that GSAT 11 was launched, but both carried the Ka band. However, according to ISRO, the use of Ka band is introduced in India for the first time through the indigenously built GSAT 11 satellite. And therefore this becomes a fact that you need to remember, especially with regards to your upcoming prelims examination of 2019. And so now with this, let us move on to the next article. Now we have taken this editorial from the editorial page on page 8. Now what this article highlights are various observations from the Global Burden of Disease report of 2017. Now this Global Burden of Disease report of 2017 was given out by the Institute for Health Metrics and Evaluation, whereby the Institute of Health Metrics and Evaluation had given out this report in collaboration with the World Health Organization. Now the observation from the Global Burden of Disease report of 2017, which has been highlighted in this article, should first be seen from the perspective of GS paper 2 within the section Social Justice and within the subsection Issues relating to development and management of social sector services relating to health. And apart from this, it would also be placed in GS paper 3 within the section Environment and within the subsection Environmental Pollution. Now the first observation that has been given in this article is that roughly around 1.24 million people are killed in India due to pollution. The second observation given in this article is that India's national standard for PM 2.5 is at 40 micrograms per cubic meter. However, what the article is trying to highlight is that according to the World Health Organization, the standard should be at 10 microgram per cubic meter. The third point highlighted in the article is that because of the rise in air pollution in India, there has been a decrease in life expectancy. The fourth point highlighted in the article is that India currently lacks in real-time measurement of pollution. And what the Global Burden of Disease report of 2017 has highlighted is that there are not enough ground-level monitoring stations to take measurement of PM 2.5 in India. And the fifth and the last point that has been highlighted in the article are the main causes of air pollution in India. The first is the burning of solid fuels for cooking in rural parts of India. The second reason is the burning of stubble in large parts of northern India. The third reason is the rise in construction dust in India. And the fourth and the last reason is the increase in air pollution from the increased number of vehicles on Indian roads. Now, these are the 5 main points that have been highlighted in this article with regards to observations made on air pollution based on the Global Burden of Disease report of 2017. Now, a question for your practice is consider the following statements. And what you need to do is pause this video, solve this question, and wait for 5 seconds for the correct answer. Now, the correct answer to this question is B, 1 and 3. When in regards to the first statement, the Global Burden of Disease report is released by the Institute of Health Metrics and Evaluation in collaboration with the World Health Organization. Statement 2 is incorrect, whereas India's PM 2.5 measurement are lower than the WHO standards. And with regards to statement number 3, the usage of solid fuel for cooking is the leading cause of indoor pollution. And so therefore the correct answer is B, 1 and 3. And so now with this, let us move on to the next article. Now we have taken this article from page 11. Now what this article talks about is that the Indian and Russian Air Force will begin their joint military exercise called Avia Indra in the month of December, in which the Russian Air Force would be taking part in the military exercise using Indian platforms. Now as you already understand that most of the defense imports for India are made from Russia, and therefore majority of the aircraft fighters that India has, such as the MiG series, Sukhoi, among other, are Russian made. And therefore the Russian Air Force would not bring any of its own asset and would be using the platforms of India that Russia itself has exported to India. However, what is required for you to understand from this article, especially with regards to your upcoming prelims examination of 2019, are the various names of the military exercises between India and Russia. Now the military exercises between the Indian Army and the Russian Army is known as Indra, while the military exercises between the Indian Air Force and the Russian Air Force is known as Avia Indra, and the military exercises between the Indian Navy and the Russian Navy is known as Indra Navy. Now apart from this, what you should also remember is that in the year 2017, India and Russia conducted the military exercise known as Indra 2017. And Indra 2017 was the first tri-services military exercise that India has conducted with any country. And when we say a tri-service military exercise, it means it had the participation of the Army, the Air Force and the Navy. Now Indra 2017 is an important fact that you need to remember, especially with regards to your upcoming prelims examination of 2019, within the section current events of both national and international importance. However, you also need to understand that up till now, no questions have been asked in the prelims examination on military exercises. But nevertheless, you should remember the fact about Indra 2017. And so now with this, let us move on to the next article. Now we have taken this article from page 12. Now what we'll do with regards to this article is first understand about the Gulf Cooperation Council. And after that, we'll try to understand as to what this article talks about. Now the Gulf Cooperation Council is officially called the Cooperation Council for the Arab states of the Gulf. And when we say the Gulf, it means the Persian Gulf. So if you take a look at this map, this red region is the Persian Gulf. And the Gulf Cooperation Council includes the Arab states which border the Persian Gulf. And so the members of the Gulf Cooperation Council are Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, Oman, Qatar, Bahrain and Kuwait. However, there is one aspect that you need to understand, that the country of Iraq, which is also an Arab country and borders the Persian Gulf, is not a member of the Gulf Cooperation Council. However, the reason as to why Iraq is not a member of the Gulf Cooperation Council we'll come to later in this section. Now, the main objectives of the Gulf Cooperation Council is to have political defense and economic cooperation among its members. And apart from this, one of the main objectives of the Gulf Cooperation Council is to limit the influence of Iran. Now, the Gulf Cooperation Council is mainly led by the Sunni dominated Saudi Arabia, which is in constant rivalry with the Shia dominated Iran. And both countries are looking to improve their influence within the Middle East and the Persian Gulf. And therefore, the Gulf Cooperation Council includes all the Arab states which are also Sunni dominated and are trying to counterbalance the increase in Iranian influence. Now, there's one unique aspect of the Gulf Cooperation Council. Now, the Gulf Cooperation Council is the only international organization in the world in which all the members are monarchies. And this unique aspect brings us back to the membership of Iraq, wherein Iraq is the only Arab country bordering the Persian Gulf that is not a member of the Gulf Cooperation Council. And there are two main reasons as to why that is. Now, the first reason is that Iraq has generally had a republic form of government. And even recently, elections were held to form the government in Iraq, whereas elections are not held in Saudi Arabia, Oman, United Arab Emirates, Kuwait, Bahrain, or in Qatar, whereby all of the six members have a monarchy form of government. And the second reason as to why Iraq is not a member is that it has a large number of Shia population, where among all the Arab states that are bordering the Persian Gulf, Iraq has the maximum number of Shias living within its country. And therefore, these became the two main reasons as to why Iraq has not been given a membership of the Gulf Cooperation Council. So now hopefully you've understood the basic aspects of the Gulf Cooperation Council. Now, the reason the Gulf Cooperation Council is in the news is because it recently held its meeting. However, because of the growing conflict between Saudi Arabia and Qatar, the King of Qatar did not attend the Gulf Cooperation Council summit. So now hopefully you've understood as to why this article was in the news. Now, with regards to UPSC syllabus, the Gulf Cooperation Council would be placed in GS Paper 2 within the section International Relations, within the subsection Important International Institutions and their structure and mandate. Now, this question for your practice was asked in the prelims of 2016. And what you can do is pause this video, solve this question, and wait for 5 seconds for the correct answer. Now, the correct answer to this question is A. Iran, wherein Saudi Arabia, Oman, Kuwait are members of the Gulf Cooperation Council. And so now with this, let us move on to the next article. Now we have taken this article from page 11. Now what this article talks about is that the former National Security Advisor Shiv Shankar Menon had recently given a lecture. And what this article contains are various points from that lecture. Now one of the points that has been made is that Asia is witnessing one of the greatest arms race in history. Now, an arms race is considered a peacetime competition which is undertaken by two or more countries which are hostile towards each other. And this competition is undertaken in the form of collecting the most superior and the most number of weapons. Now, the main reasons given by the former National Security Advisor as to why there is an arms race in Asia is first due to the tensions between the United States and China, and secondly because of an ill-defined concept of Indo-Pacific. Now, the former National Security Advisor further explained as to how the Indo-Pacific region is ill-defined, especially with regards to India. Now, if you take a look at this map, the red line signifies the Indo-Pacific region, which includes the Indian Ocean and the Pacific Ocean. However, what the former National Security Advisor is highlighting is that this concept of Indo-Pacific is ill-defined, wherein the first reason as to why it is ill-defined is because Australia, the United States, and Japan are focusing on dominating the maritime Indo-Pacific region. However, according to the former National Security Advisor, United States, Japan, and other countries have left the continental Asia to be dominated by China. And therefore, what the former National Security Advisor is recommending is that this Indo-Pacific region should also include the continental Asia within its security purview. Apart from this, the former National Security Advisor has also highlighted is that the major powers in Asia, which are the United States and Japan, are focusing on dominating the South China Sea. However, what India wants is security of Bay of Bengal and the Arabian Sea. Now, these are the two main reasons as to why the former National Security Advisor Shiv Shankar Menon has said that the current understanding of the Indo-Pacific region is ill-defined, wherein the major powers in Asia, such as the United States and Japan, are currently focusing on dominating the maritime Indo-Pacific region. But what this has done is allowed China to dominate the continental part or the land part of Asia. And what the former National Security Advisor is saying is that India is both a maritime power and a land power. And therefore, India requires both maritime security and continental security. And the second reason given by the former National Security Advisor is that when the United States, Japan, and other major powers of Asia consider the Indo Pacific region, they are mainly focusing on South China Sea. However, what India wants is security of both the Bay of Bengal and the Arabian Sea, which is currently being overlooked by the other major powers of Asia. And therefore, according to the former National Security Advisor, this ill-defined concept of the Indo-Pacific region is one of the reasons as to why there is an arms race in Asia, wherein the United States, China, Australia and Japan, and including India, are increasing their naval power so as to dominate the maritime region of Indo-Pacific region. However, what is also happening is that the United States, Australia and Japan are not directly linked to the continental or the land part of Asia. And so therefore there is a growing arms race between India and China so as to counter each other in the continental landform of Asia. Now with regards to your UPSC syllabus, this article and the explanation given in this section would be placed in GS paper 2 within the section International Relations and within the subsection Effect of Policy and Politics of Developed and Developing Countries on India's Interest. So with regards to this part of the syllabus, the effect of arms race in Asia and the effect of ill-defined Indo-Pacific region on India's interest of security of continental Asia, the Bay of Bengal and the Arabian Sea. Now if we take a look at the test series question paper that had been prepared for the International Relations section, a question was asked: the hyphenation of the Indian Ocean with Pacific Ocean is a geostrategy that has been imposed on India. Critically analyze this statement by clarifying India's vision for the Indo-Pacific region. So now based on this, what I'll do is provide you the recommended structure for answer and the facts and concept to cite in the answer. Now what you can do is try to answer this question based on the explanation just given in this section and the facts and the concept to cite which has been provided in the PDF and the Word file. And hopefully this would help you with regards to self-evaluation for your mains examination. And so now with this, let us move on to the next article. Now we have taken this article from page 18. Now what this article highlights are various concerns with regards to bioplastics. Now with regards to your UPSC syllabus, this article and the upcoming explanation would be placed in GS paper 3, first within the section Technology and second within the section Environment. And with regards to the section Technology, bioplastics should be seen from the context of its development and its application. And with regards to the section Environment, with respect to its role in conservation and controlling the environmental pollution of plastics. So now let us understand as to what this article talks about. Now what is happening is that bioplastics are often promoted as being climate friendly, since currently the production of plastic use petroleum products. However, bioplastics are formed by obtaining the natural polymers from various agricultural byproducts. And this is why bioplastics are being promoted because they are climate friendly. However, the article has raised concerns that bioplastics may not be climate friendly in the way they are being promoted as. Now, bioplastics are plastics which are derived from renewable biomass, such as agriculture byproducts, in the form of straw, cornstarch, food waste, apart from also being formed by recycling used plastic bottles. And therefore, bioplastics are considered climate friendly because they are also biodegradable. And apart from that, they also come from renewable sources such as agriculture byproducts, while normal plastics are formed from petroleum products. And it is within that context that bioplastics are in principle assumed to be climate neutral. Now you have to look at it this way, that plastic which is currently being formed is made from petroleum products, and therefore for the production of common plastic, carbon dioxide is being released into the atmosphere. However, for the formation of bioplastics, renewable products are being used such as agricultural byproducts, and these agricultural byproducts have already consumed some amount of CO2 from the atmosphere. So it is considered that whatever CO2 is being formed in forming these bioplastics has already been compensated by the usage of the renewable product from which the bioplastic has been formed. And therefore, that is why bioplastics in principle are considered to be climate neutral. Now, the author has raised concerns with regards to the usage of bioplastic. Now, since the usage of bioplastic uses agriculture products, a large amount of land is required to form these agriculture products. And what the authors are trying to highlight is that this land which is being used for agriculture products to form bioplastics have been converted from forest areas. And therefore, according to the authors, this less forest area would lead to less absorption of CO2 from the atmosphere. And therefore, bioplastics should not be considered as being climate friendly in the way they are being promoted as. So now hopefully you've understood as to what are bioplastics and what are the problems with regards to bioplastics. Now, a question for your practice is consider the following statements on bioplastic. Now, as you already understand, pause this video, solve this question, and wait for 5 seconds for the correct answer. Now, the correct answer to this question is B, 2 only. When if you take into account the first statement, it is incorrect because the production of bioplastic does produce CO2 emission, but it is considered climate neutral because it is mainly formed from agricultural products which have already absorbed some form of CO2 from the atmosphere, and therefore any release of CO2 emissions while producing a bioplastic is considered to be compensated by using agriculture products which have already absorbed CO2 from the atmosphere. In regards to the second statement, bioplastics are biodegradable. And so now with this, let us move on to the next article. Now we have taken this article from page 14. Now what this article talks about are the various concerns with regards to the terms of references of the 15th Finance Commission. Now as you already might be aware of, a question has already been asked in the mains examination of 2018, which had asked, how is the Finance Commission of India constituted? What do you know about the terms of references of the recently constituted Finance Commission? Now the discussion of this mains question has already been done in the Daily News Simplified video of 22nd of October. And apart from that, what are the concerns with regards to the terms of references of the Finance Commission has also been covered in the Daily News Simplified of 23rd of August. And what you can do is watch both of these videos. First, to understand as to what are the concerns with regards to the terms of references of the Finance Commission. And secondly, you can also understand on how to move forward while answering this question. And as we have already discussed in an earlier video, you can search for both of these videos by typing Rao's IAS and the date of the Daily News Simplified that you want to watch for in double quotes. And by searching through this, the typed Daily News Simplified video should become visible on the screen. And now with this, we come to an end in the analysis of today's newspaper. Now we move on to the question for today.